Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Magic the Gathering Arena. And today we are going to be headed into Explorer again to play some Atraxa Creativity. This is a build of creativity using Atraxa Grand Unifier to just, as the hit, to just reload and overwhelm your opponent with value. We have things like Bitter Reunion to give Atraxa haste, get in for 7, lifelink immediately.
Really turn the tide there.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing. Atraxa proving to be just absolutely insane every time it hits the battlefield. You know, I'm sure many of you have seen a number of other ways that people are putting, or maybe even creativity builds that are putting Atraxa into play, and yeah, it's a wild one. It's a card that I personally underestimated. Green source to start from the opponent, but no elf, so I think we're okay to play a tap land here. Okay, so it is Devotion. It is Mono Green Devotion. Play Sokenzan. Play Chandra.
Chandra, you need more control.
Let's do some elementals and smash them in the face.
Go get him, buddy.
So at this point, our opponent should know we're on creativity. Chandra's really a big tell, if you will. Old Growth Troll. Well, I hate to break it to you, buddy, but that's just not gonna do it. So here we're gonna go 0 to the Chandra,
Go get him, bud. Say
and
hi to
unfortunately
my
we can only
fiery
creativity for
friends.
1. Let's get in first. We'll get our 1 damage. Because we can only creativity for 1, it's correct to attack here. So they block, or they don't block. Okay, so they're betting on Fire Prophecy. So playing around Fire Prophecy, we'll get another creativity. We will get. Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, there's a second spin in there. So against this deck, we have the early removal of the Fire Prophecies. Really what we need is something to handle them, to take care of them if they get out of control, if they get something big on the battlefield quickly. So we're going to bring in Depopulate. They are mostly basic, so Settle is not good. And I think that's about it, right? I think our plan is really just hopefully win before they get out of control, and maybe the Depopulate isn't even worth it then. Maybe it is, though. We'll cut a Wedding Announcement, because Wedding Announcement's pretty not good against them. Creativity gets around pretty much anything they could be playing as a hate card. No, Cage doesn't do anything. They're Karn deck, usually. They're always. They're a Karn deck, so they're not going to have a ton of sideboarding for us most of the time. Like, it's the price you pay for playing a Karn deck. Unfortunately, them on the play does mean that this is liable to happen, right? So So the question here is, what do we do? So we can wait to remove something, but if they play Nykthos, they've got 4 pips, which means that Nykthos is a +1, which means it would take them to 5, right? Nykthos, tap the elf and the forest, make 3, 4, 5, yes. So I would be inclined to Leyline Binding the troll. That still doesn't like destroy their mana. We could just Fire Prophecy the elf instead, and then Nykthos is net 0. So I think that actually makes sense. I think that we Fire Prophecy the Elvish Mystic, because this means that they are at 3 mana next turn. So we put back Sacred Foundry. Oh, or nothing. May, yeah. Time's out there. Took too long, so unfortunate, but it is what it is. We will play a Sacred Foundry. Now, they didn't play a land last turn, so this is... I mean, I think they would have played Nykthos if they had Nykthos. And they didn't play... They played 2 elves. I'm going to Leyline Binding an Elvish Mystic. And then next turn, hopefully we can just Nahiri exile the troll. Nope.
I will protect the virtue of this world. Behold, nature's true power.
Yeah, the theory there was essentially they didn't play a land the previous turn, which meant that I was betting on them not having Nykthos, which means that we would just get hit by the troll and they would play a 3-drop, but they had Nykthos, so now we lose, pretty much. We can Nahiri eat the troll. Yeah.
The earth trembles in anticipation of my vengeance. Boulders will
That was
hail from
whatever,
the
so,
heavens.
you know, it happens. Yep. Mono green does. Now what we can hope here is that they don't hit anything dangerous. Nope, they did. They hit
I defy
all sorts of
you.
dangerous stuff.
Defying you will be easy.
Yeah, and they can just pop off here and do it again. Because they haven't activated Nissa yet, so they can untap a... so Kiora untaps the... Kiora can untap Nykthos. The green land taps for 2. They can activate Nykthos like twice by untapping it with Kiora and Nissa. But yeah, they're just gonna like storm off that turn, and there's no like we could draw Depopulate, but that still leaves them with Nissa and Kiora and anything else that they happen to have after that. I'm still thinking about the last game. I should have mulliganed this hand most likely. It's a lot of colors, and populate here. Or are one of to populate, which is tough. This is actually pretty okay for us. A slow start on their part. Fable? Yeah, Fable. Fable gives us the best chance of hitting an untapped land. Which gets us to this creativity immediately. Now that's Kiora untaps the land, which taps for 3, so a free Kiora. Cavalier, that's awful. Cavalier whiffs. It's quite nice for us. Well, that's the untapped land, so Triumph, Garden. Actually, this no. Did we just pitch both of these? Yeah, I think we do. And we just creativity, it's fun. Off the goblin. Bang. We will take another creativity. Leyline binding. Seju, Prophecy. Discard Den.
Nature flows with vigor.
There's Karn.
I am Karn.
I don't think Karn wins the game here because they don't have enough. Stone Brain, sure, they can eat the Atraxas, which is something I should have considered. I should have boarded into different threats. Like we have an Atraxa in play though, so. Oh. Well, what? I don't understand that. Play Beseju, Leyline Binding, Cavalier. So the question is, what did we hit here? And actually, that's not a question. Because we can Chandra. It might still be a question. Chandra make dorks attack Karn. They block 1. Karn goes to 2, and we attack the Kiora with the Atraxa. No. We haste. Okay, here's what we do. Fire Prophecy. This. Put. Seize the spoils back. Paste up the team. Atraxa kills Kiora. Reflections hits Karn. The reason I was thinking about this is because we don't want them to tutor with Karn. That's the main threat from Karn. But the Kiora gives them so much mana. Okay. Very close, very dangerous games. So yeah, I wanted to clear the Kiora to debilitate their mana, but I felt like I had to get the Karn down to a level where it couldn't tutor, which the Chandra line would not have done. The Chandra line would have hit, would have left them, if they wanted to block with the elf, able to tutor with Karn. Just an extremely dangerous place to be. But honestly, as the opponent, I think if you have a good idea of what your opponent's hit is, and they don't appear to be running a split, you don't take the, well, that's interesting, draw. Cool. So yeah, I think if you can reasonably suspect that your opponent is running one kind of hit, namely like Atraxa or something like that, you name that with the Stone Brain. Now, if you have seen your opponent's deck post board and they are running a split, then yes, I agree, you take the creativity. Now, this is a question in the absence of information, which is an interesting thing, where you have a difference in a tournament setting versus the ladder setting, where you actually might know your opponent's deck and whether or not they're running splits. In the blind, do I keep this? I mean, it's turn 4 creativity. We'll try it. Turn 5 creativity. I stand corrected. Against mono white. Yeah, this is not going to be good enough. In all likelihood. They are so aggressive. They have 6 coming in next turn. It might just make sense to scoop here. Like, I know it seems really early, but we don't have anything going on. And anything further, like, they're going to swing in for 6 next turn. So if we play Chandra, they're just going to clear it immediately. No matter what we do. Like, even if we uptick it, everything has to go at it. So that's a 3 mana, gain 6 life. Right? we don't have anything beyond that. If we just cycle this Jetmir's Garden, we take 6 next turn and they play 2 more things, potentially. So we're like 2 turns off. Yeah, we're just gonna skip it up. Gets this deck, set all the wreckage in, that in, and the fries in. That's not good here. Honestly, Chandra is pretty bad. We want some because we want to have that Planeswalker hit. No, maybe we just cut the Chandra. Actually, Chandra is probably better than Mahiri against mono white. Yeah. I would say that this Chandra is better than Mahiri. Is it better than a Braid though? Probably not. Let's just take a Braid in. And call it a day with that. Atraxa is still a great hit here. This is definitely a mulligan. Okay, this is okay. We'll put back a Bitter Reunion. They may have a reasonable estimation that we are on Creativity. Initiate, sure. Pay life here. Bitter Reunion. So it's Fable or Seize the Spoils. I know what you're thinking. Why would you ever pitch Fable? Seize the Spoils gives us a treasure immediately, though, and they're more likely to have creature removal than artifact removal. I guess they have on-board artifact and enchantment removal. I'm gonna pitch the Fable. And we drew 2 more. Oh my god. We're just gonna die again before like turn 3. This is stupid. Alright, well this one we can chalk up to variance because this was just we didn't draw any lands before turn 3, but it's just sort of a rough one, you know? Things happen. Didn't put up much of a fight, so the deck looks pretty poor here. Yeah, that's just the game. I think that is a tough matchup, but I don't think it should have been that poor. We didn't draw lands. So there may have been an argument to keep both Bitter Reunions in that second mulligan. In case we... But if we don't draw a land to play on turn 3, then... Like, is Bitter Reunion number 2 finding us that 3rd land instead of... I guess that's better than not, but it's probably not going to get us there. Alright, Arena. Yeah, we're in Variant City right now. This is weird. We'll put Atraxa back. Okay, and we're up against mono white again. Yeah. Yeah, this is a thing. This is a thing that happens. We could have played Den there, but we didn't, like, without removal in the first couple of turns against a mono white aggro deck, right? Like, we're not gonna get there. And we don't have main deck sweepers, so this is essentially over. We can play. Again, we're in this position where Chandra. I guess Fable's a 2/2 instead of weighing in. That's 1/1. Yeah, let's play Fable. Okay, they're not going to blow it up. They're just going to hit us for an absolute shitload of damage. So how we win this is not blocking. The Ajano is our land for turn. There's creativity. So we could play the dense with the thing. Are we still dead? So I'm thinking we might want to bring in Titan against these mono white decks. We played against them a couple of times now. This is game 1, so this is okay. Okay, yeah. Creativity for 1. And this lets us find like leyline binding. Oh no, leyline binding is going to cost way too much right now. Fire Prophecy is our pick there. Quitting announcement. We don't want Atraxa right now. Just basic planes. Take the Hiri. So they're gonna get in for. Oh no, never mind. It was like they were gonna get. They were guaranteed to get in for like 3 or 4. So we get Settle, Fries, Braids. I think we will bring in this Titan. blockers really aren't good. So the downside of this deck is there really isn't good 1 mana removal for a deck like this. Like, Leyline Binding will get there eventually, but when you need removal on turn 1, there really isn't anything for you. Like, you could go black and get like Fatal Push and stuff, but at that point, like, the base of your curve is super demanding. So you could play like Rakdos Creativity. That's entirely a choice. We mulligan that. We'll keep this, and put this Titan to the bottom. Which is unfortunate because it means that, you know, what do they lead on here? Hopefully initiate, okay. That is acceptable. What I'm gonna do is Castle Garden, Balefire Prophecy, put back Sacred, no, that's our third red source, we're gonna put back the Beseju. Thalia is bad. Thalia is bad. But without a backup board, it doesn't immediately kill us. You know, this is a deck that I have not been seeing a ton of whenever I play anything else, so it's not something I was sort of planning for, if you will. We're going to Leyline Binding here. It's Recruitment Officer, that's fine. Yeah, we're just getting absolutely destroyed. And we're dead. Because I can play like the Savai Triome and a Wedding Announcement, but I'm still taking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If they have a human, that's 9, and we're dead. So, a human, brave the elements. Mutavault is not it. That is 8. You're alive. Oh, that is a human. Never mind, we're dead. Yeah, a land even kills us. There's nothing in their deck that doesn't kill us. this hand is not a keep. This hand is a keep. I'm gonna put back Seize the Spoils. Okay. They probably take Fable, yeah. Another go blank, I mean, just destroys us, but...
Won't lie, I'm a pretty brave pyromancer. Oh, say hi to my fiery friends.
Obliterator. Okay. Obliterator into a binding, that's definitely an option. I mean, I just have to do that.
Say hi to my... Don't worry, I brought company.
Again, not a deck that I have ever seen anyone play up to this point, but sure. Go for blood. Okay, this is Rakdos Fight Club, is what they're trying to do. Seize the Spoils here, just immediately. Pitch that. Obliterator into fight spells. Make people sack their permanents. Arena, sure. Black is not great at dealing with enchantments, so enchantments are our go-to weapon here. And keeping our creatures small in case they have obliterators. Creatures small, permanent count high. Okay. You could think about cycling this. You could also fire up the Den. Swing with Den, make a 1/1. See if they've got a fatal push, essentially. Okay, no push from them. Thoughtseize would be great. Go blank would be terrible. So whether or not we keep this in hand. Do we have a swamp yet? No. We're gonna play it. So we will lose one creature when we attack here. I don't think we're going to fire up the den. We're just going to attack with 2 creatures and oh my gosh. So a lot of stuff going on here. So they're going to fire up this. I'm just going to block, kill one of my creatures. They're going to get a life off the Meat Hook Massacre, which is unfortunate, but I want to draw the card here off of my wedding announcement. We're going to hold this Triome so we can cycle it. I think we'll also be able to make a token 5/3. Yes. It'll cost us our treasure. But I think that's okay. No, I think we'll just cycle the Triome and see what we get. Sure. Yeah, I'm very much inclined to not mess with that then. Because we still have the treasure token to creativity off of, which they will have a tough time dealing with. So if we cast Bitter Reunion, we will still have 3 red sources and lands. So we can pitch the Blood Crypt. We already have a forest though. I guess the 2 life, so saving the 2 life doesn't really matter. So we're just gonna do that. We will play this tapped. Play a wedding announcement. Aetherborn. Aetherborn is dangerous because that means they're going to start gaining the life, which is going to offset this Phyrexian Arena. Again, I don't think it's worth sacrificing the treasure here, so we're going to just go to the turn. Yeah, in here, seize the spoils. Yes. Oh, we also got the Fire Prophecy. I think Fire Prophecy is probably better.
Anyone need a fire started? No? Too bad.
question becomes whether or not we want to cycle before we do this or not. And I think for the sake of efficiency, we will cycle first. Another wedding announcement is not really what I'm looking for. We will put this back. Yep, he took X2, okay. They will likely fire up the den here, kill the Chandra. That does leave us live to creativity off the top. It's not lethal, but it's better than nothing. I mean, it's pretty good. Let's be honest. But it's not lethal, so takes me to 1. Thoughtseize. Well, now it is lethal if we top deck it. Before that, any other draw was not going to clear the Chandra. I'm going to clear the Chandra for them. I'm going to seize the spoils.
Maybe I'm not cut out to be a monk.
Yes. Oh my god. Oh, we can play it. We can play it. Oh, but we can't haste it. But we haven't played a land this turn. Creativity needs to be untapped land, so just a swamp. Fire Prophecy. The announcement. Swamp. It was lethal. I was mistaken. So boom. Okay. Tedious, grindy. Devout Decree is good. And I mean, Leyline is good. What isn't good? I mean, if we Atraxa and they Fight Club it, I mean, that's gonna be a nightmare. guess the planeswalkers are not very good because they have the. But Nahiri's pretty solid. Chandra's okay. Unifier Prophecy. I know they were like, that was everything we were doing in that game, but they didn't like really get much done, I guess. Okay, let's cut down on announcements. They didn't get much done. They were there, but they didn't. Like our opponent was like, okay, that's another creature token I'm gonna kill. It more so you could say like, oh, they took a bunch of removal spells for you. We're gonna go with. So we could go 1 or 2. We could go 1, assuming they didn't bring in Feed the Swarm. Or we can go 2 to be sure that even if they did bring in Feed the Swarm, they don't get it. They don't get to us. Yeah, we're gonna go 2. If they brought in Feed the Swarm, I want to just lock it up. The card in hand is pretty nice, but if this locks out like 2 discard spells, its value. This locks out 3 discard spells. It's excellent. And then I don't recall if the edicts target us. I think some of them do. Like Angrath's, I'm pretty sure does. Shieldred's does not. That's each opponent. It's written to scale. Just a crappy lightning strike. This token dies immediately. Interesting. Shelly. Well, we can just decline this. Play the Sokenzon. Creativity for 1. Nahiri. Kanjo. Leyline Binding. Well, they didn't have a removal spell for the token, so I'm hoping that bodes well for our Atraxa. We could be in a world of hurt, though. No, that's fine. That's okay. You didn't immediately remove my Atraxa, so you are you're fishing for the trade. Oh, okay. Well, You had a fight spell. That's fine. We're gonna pitch this as Ajana. We didn't have a white source before, now we do. So they have Fatal Push. Most likely. Fatal Push would make sense. Basically, they go to end step, they let this sacrifice itself, they draw a card, and they have Revolt now, so they can push with. Oh, or not. Alright. Sometimes, you know, sometimes they don't have what you think they have. So we need islands to make this Leyline Binding free.
Oppose me and be reduced to rubble.
Pitch jet in your
My
square.
vengeance is forged from stone.
I'm not going for the second creativity yet. And maybe I should have. Like, I think we're in a commanding position though, and I kind of want to establish things that aren't creativity. And then go for creativity again. That's Shelly, sure. Like, we're in just such a commanding position now. We're really line binding that Shelly. Like, they could have cut down, I guess. Chandra.
Hey, don't start any fires without me.
We're gonna uptick Nahiri.
I herald
Decline.
a torrent of stone.
Make
Don't worry.
elementals.
Hey, these little guys are great.
X1. That's a lot of lands. Leyline Binding, big score. And Beseiju. So yeah, I think we, the Leyline of Sanctity just ruined our opponent based on their play patterns this game. What? Also that, I mean, I don't understand the logic. Cutting people off of, this is something that I want to say. Cutting people off of colors is something that is nice when it happens. It is never, never in modern Magic something you should be aiming for. Like, land destruction for the sake of land destruction is never, unless it's like, yeah, it's never something you should be aiming for in modern Magic design, because they just don't offer it. They don't give you the requisite tools for land destruction to be viable option. You're not allowed to mess with your opponent's land base. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like we're almost due for a Blood Moon-esque effect to be reprinted, but essentially, like, that rubble reading. Like, yes, we're a little taxed on red. We got up to, like, 4 or 5 eventually. And what are you doing up to that point? Like, are you going to... Like, I didn't have any strong utility units, so yeah, anyway, this is a little bit of a rant here. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think this deck definitely has some legs to it. You know, it's a bit of fun, and I hope to see you next time. Not sure what we'll be coming back with. I enjoyed the Shadows Remastered stuff, but I can't really justify spending a ton on that, so we shall see. I will see you next time.